let's take a look at what the police aren't doing well, siphon that money away, and put it into a service dedicated to responding in a way that really supports our communities where we need to.
Marginalized Canadians and activists say it's time to talk seriously about defunding police services. In the wake of protests against police violence in Canada and the United States, some Canadians say things like mental health calls, which police are increasingly taking on, are better handled by healthcare workers.
Why not take some money out of the police who are responding to those calls, create a new service that is an emergency service where people who are appropriately trained in the health and social needs of folks who are going through a mental health crisis show up, help with de-escalation, help with the treatment that those people need.
The proposal has gained steam after the death of Toronto woman Regis Korchinski-Paquette during a police call last week and the protests that followed. Defund the police has become a trending topic on Twitter, and both the Prime Minister and Ontario Premier have been questioned on it, but Doug Ford says it's a total non-starter.
Well, I support more funding for the community resources, and I don't believe in cutting the police, and the police and everyone in our community has to be part of solutions. That's what it comes down to.
We actually have strong partnerships with other non-police people who are specifically trained, for example, to deal with people suffering from mental health issues, or specifically trained to manage addiction issues. And most services across the country now have police officers working with psych nurses, for example, police officers working with social workers.
Tom Stamatakis is the head of the Canadian Police Association and has been a Vancouver cop for 30 years. He says police wouldn't object to handling fewer mental health calls and seeing more cash go to community funding. But he says police have been working to tackle disproportionate use of violence against Black, Indigenous, and racialized Canadians. If Canadians want to vent their frustrations about funding, they should be venting at politicians, not the police.
Provinces are responsible for policing, yet municipalities are responsible for most of the funding. I really think this is an issue of looking at the funding formula, and is it time to start to look at policing differently and getting more senior levels of government involved in helping with some of those funding challenges.
Now, the idea of defunding police services has drawn sharp criticism from some, but is gaining traction among some local politicians. Ottawa City Councillor Sean Menard tweeting Thursday afternoon that he thinks it's time to look at defunding the police. In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.